Hey, 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 hey. Don't you hear the rappers be like, hey, hey. Now move side to side, y'all. They try to get you to do all this. No, nigga. We didn't come here to see that, nigga. We are back and we are black. What is happening? Back to back like the Los Angeles Lakers. Back to back like the Chicago Bulls. Three-peat. Bi-peat. Whatever the fuck you want to call it. We are back. We are black in this bitch. Blessed and highly favored is what they want to call it in the Christian community. I would like to say just happy to be alive. Or in Nearly Full of Junior's words, I'm still learning. What is going on? What is going on? It's a lot to discuss. I just thought I'd hit y'all up real quick. Something off the top of the dome. Give y'all one real quick. Shout out to everybody that's out there. If you want to march, whine, and repeat, go ahead and do that. But we got to think about what we're going to do after that. Y'all need to start putting all these dirty cops' addresses on fucking the internet so people can start showing up to their houses and making them feel uncomfortable. But other than that, man, shout out to all you finessing ass motherfuckers that's out there trying to sit around the house and see how you gonna work a nigga out of the little bit of money that they got. Shout out to all you motherfuckers that's still trying to maintain their home expenses. Shout out to all you people that's talking about, well, I don't see race, I don't see color. Stop it. So shout out to y'all too. God damn, stop it. I can't stand that shit, especially when it's a goddamn sandball. Well, black people will stop killing black people, then won't be problems. Man, get the fuck out of here. So if you hitting your sister upside the head and I come and I kick that bitch in her fucking throat, I could be like, well, you was hitting her upside the head anyway, so I should have had no problem. You shouldn't be tripping about me kicking the bitch in the throat. Stop it. It doesn't even make sense. Shout out to all you motherfuckers that's out there trying to handle your business and hustle through the day and navigate through this COVID-19 debacle, the second and third wave and fourth wave and all the other bullshit that's going on. So shout out to you. Shout out to everybody that's at the Court Plantation. Listen to my podcast when you're at the Court Plantation. Don't listen to my shit when you listen to it then. It's gonna make more sense then. So shout out to all you motherfuckers that's out there doing what you gotta do. Hey. And shout out to all my women that's out there that's like, damn, I don't even know how I'm gonna pay my rent. Well, bitch, call me. I'll figure out how you can pay it. You know what you're gonna have to do too. Most bitches, I bet you they are just, if they could, they'd take their pussy off of their body and wrap it up in a present. And then they'll auction it off. And then after they auction it off, I'll be like, okay, now you can get the Amazon Prime 2-day shipping for this pussy, or you can get the regular shipping. Now, which one you want? I swear that's what bitches do. Most bitches, I know that's what they'll do. Facts. Shout out to everybody that's out there that's still fighting a good fight out there in Minnesota and all over the United States of America. So shout out to y'all. Hey. All right, let me cut this shit down. Ain't gonna be on long. Man, there's a lot of shit going on. I'm about to get right into it, man. It's the blame game. Don't let these motherfuckers fool you. Been on Twitter all day, motherfuckers trying to argue me down about, let me tell y'all something that's, man, shout out to all the people that was on the podcast, all the people that was listening. Shout out to all y'all. But I gotta tell y'all, when y'all listen to this, y'all gonna laugh. Why today, remember how I told y'all about the secret relationship between Jews and blacks? Now, these same people that's been trying to, bully me into submission thinking that I'm going to fold, well, the Jews, you right, the Jews didn't play their part. Nah, fuck that, they did play their part. They had a very big part. And I'm standing by the secret relationship between Jews and blacks. Stop it. So, with that being said, another person jumps in my mentions and like, you sound stupid, all this other stuff. So, they noticed that I started retweeting it, but commenting and pointing down at how dumb they look. So then they started to kind of curtail their argument. The curtail went from this anti-Semitic, you're spitting all this, they always want to claim this anti-Semitic bullshit. But the people that were in my mentions weren't co-signing that shit. So then when this agent provocateur noticed that, and I ain't got a whole lot of followers, but when they noticed that shit, then they started to say, because I stayed on the point, the Jewish community is very complicit in the transatlantic slave trade. Stop it. They have benefited from black free labor. Stop. So they are just as complicit as any other Caucasian. Oh, well, the Holocaust, I said, that did not take place on U.S. soil. That took place in Europe. So you need to talk to Europe about your atrocities, not to no native black folk for the United States of America Incorporated. Stop. I just kept saying stop. Then later on the day, I get a tweet talking about, well, it wasn't all the same Jews. It was the Ashkenazi Khazarian Jews that was responsible for the Atlantic slave trade. Oh, so which Jew are you? So you're not the Ashkenazi Khazarian Jew. No, you are the Ashkenazi Khazarian Jew, and you did benefit from the Atlantic slave trade. Stop it. Stop it. And then I tweeted, notice how the dominant society, and then I put in parentheses, Jewish white folk, because Jews act like they're not a part of this dominant society. Like they just, just like motherfuckers try to argue me down about the elite Jewish bankers. Stop it. Stop it. Stop. And what I noticed is a deflection. And when I kept saying, see, you're using what's called white fragility, and you're deflecting and trying to change the narrative and make it about some anti-Semitic stuff when it's about the Jewish community being complicit and participating in the slave trade, one, and practicing anti-black racism. Stop. And I just kept hitting on that point. People kept retweeting it, and then eventually, I'm gonna check my Twitter again. Oh, I love it all day. And then somebody was like, man, you letting them have it. I will never stop. I said, you will never get me to change my belief system on all these other racial groups, and in parentheses, including the white Jewish communities, complicity in the anti-black racism and the transatlantic slave trade. Stop. Stop making it seem like the Nation of Islam just made this shit up. So motherfucker just sat at home. So you mean to tell me the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan just sat at home and was like, yeah, that's how I'm gonna get these white folk. The white men, they supposed to select. You just made all this shit up, man. Stop. And what it is because these people have been around a lot of other black people that will fold under pressure and will fold. But see, I never said anything anti-Semitic. I never said anything that was derogatory towards the Jewish community. Not one time. And that's what they didn't like. Oh, because don't believe she didn't call me a fuckhead and you motherfucker. And then she tried to call me by my name. Well, yeah, Warren, and all this other stuff. And I was like, and I just kept retweeting. Notice how the dominant society, when they get upset, they name call when they're out of options. Oh, I love it. I haven't felt this empowered in my damn near entire life as far as educating myself. So that's why I'm like, wow. And it's so funny because I tweeted this, and look, I said, just for y'all to understand, these people will march with you, but they're not your friends. And they don't have your best interests at heart. And I said, you want to know why? Because if they did, then why hasn't a single Caucasian brung up reparations for black folk? Why hasn't a single Caucasian said, well, why don't y'all just give black people what is owed to them and maybe all this shit will stop? I'm waiting to see the day that some white person or folk will come up and say, look, I don't necessarily agree with this anti-black racism, and I don't agree with everything that black people have to say about white people, but why don't y'all just give them what's owed to them? But you know why they're not going to do that? Because then that'll take away their white privilege. That's another thing. Oh, well, I'm Jewish. Well, yeah, but you classify yourself as Caucasian. Nice try. And with that being said, your privilege is derived from free black labor. Stop. And that's what we got to stick on the point. Don't let these people alligator roll. Remember the podcast last night? Don't be letting Andrea Jenkins talk about amazing grace, how sweet. Don't let that he bitch take y'all off the goddamn narrative. You know that they did that on purpose. They're not going to put no strong, articulate brother like Brother Reza Islam or Brother Ben X. They're not going to put them on TV. They're going to put a he bitch on TV. They put He-Man on TV. They put Daryl Dawkins with a... Man, stop. And then y'all motherfuckers think these people are your friends. These people are not your friends. Let me tell you, you'll know. Where's Tim Wise? I'm calling to the floor. I'm calling that motherfucker out. Where the fuck is Tim Wise at? See, I've been on that motherfucker ever since I saw him. I was just like, See, Jane Elliott is a little different how she do it. Because what Jane Elliott does is she'll bring white people into the fold and call it out to their face. Him, he wants to stand behind a podium like he's a goddamn Southern Baptist preacher. And my mom and my daddy raised me because white folk, and my mom and my daddy, man, fuck all that. Okay, but what are you trying to do to change it though? So you gonna go amongst these motherfucking white people that are practicing anti-black racism and upholding the institution of racism, white supremacy, you're gonna hold them accountable and call their asses out? I know you know them. No, you gonna stand behind the podium and preach to black folk and act like you in the struggle, but where are you at? I've yet to see him. Where is he? Where is it every time a native black person gets killed? We don't ever see him. But he's still making those speeches and collecting that money. Stop it. I'll fuck with Jane Elliott, but I don't really fuck with Tim Wise at all, because I just think he's a fucking vulture. And he talked hella shit about Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. Just like Mark Lamoist Hill. That motherfucker was on TV catering to the goddamn Jewish community. I was like, damn, I wish he would fight that hard for us. These Jews don't give a fuck about you in that capacity, but you want a job. But then you was talking all this shit about Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. So fuck Mark Lamoist Hill. Moist ass nigga, fuck out of here. I don't give a fuck what kind of education you got. Nigga, fuck you and your education, homie. The streets don't fuck with you like that. You know why? Because you a Sambo ass motherfucker, man. Stop it. Motherfuckers want to talk shit about Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, but then when you put a white person in their face, motherfucker get to explaining and, well, black folks, we have to understand, motherfucker go all around the point. I feel like I'm at Magic Mountain getting on Riddler's Revenge, the roller coaster. When I'm listening to black folks talk about anti-black racism, stop. Stop. Telling you right now, man, y'all need to understand these people are not your friends. It's a blame game now. So now everybody watch. Now watch. You gonna see cops coming out the bag, kind of telling other motherfucking cops. You gonna see CEOs throwing motherfuckers under the bus. Oh, that person's racist. Oh, they said shit about black people. Watch. You gonna see it. But there's all a distraction. Because if they're not willing to change the laws and policies that are put in place so these police, law enforcement, aka race soldiers, race warrior representatives, to kill you with impunity, then it means nothing. Then this is just all smoke and mirrors. Stop. And I was reading about this dude, what is his name? Higgins? Sterling Higgins. How they arrested him. And I'm gonna play this shit, man. I want y'all to listen to this shit. This motherfucker, man, they was taking this motherfucker through the ringer. And I just want y'all to listen to this shit. Hold on, let me cut this shit off so y'all can hear. Here we go. I want y'all to listen to it. Hopefully they play it. They don't play no goddamn commercial.
The family of Sterling Higgins is suing, alleging officers used excessive force and delayed medical care following a struggle that was captured on video. I'm asked to warn you, this video is disturbing. Now, I personally believe you need to watch the reality. It should make you uncomfortable. We have been too comfortable with too many bad things happening for too long. Our senior...
You notice he didn't say nothing about we've been too uncomfortable with things happening to black people that are unarmed for too long. See, that's codified. See, they're not going to mention black folk too much. See, they ain't going to pour it on thick. They're going to do just enough because CNN is not your friend. Stop.
Investigative correspondent Drew Griffin with this story.
Sterling Higgins appeared high, hallucinating, and paranoid last March when police arrested him for trespassing. It's what happened next to the 37-year-old that has resulted in...
You notice they said when the police arrested him for trespassing, you know they're going to throw that out. They got to throw that out there. So you could already have a negative image in your mind about this person.
Yet another claim a black man was killed in custody as cameras rolled.
It shows the officer's hands grasping around Mr. Higgins' neck and throat, and it shows Mr. Higgins stopping all movement while that officer has his hands in the area of Mr. Higgins' throat.
And that is the Higgins family attorney. I guess he's going to sue for him. You notice they didn't go get Benjamin Crump and all these other motherfuckers. See, because Benjamin Crump and all, they ambulance chasers, man. That's not a Johnny Cochran. Those are ambulance chasers who are brokeraging deals between the dominant society and black people, and you're putting a price tag on black people's lives. And basically, well, we're going to brokerage this deal, and then you just got to kind of go away and not say nothing. Look at Eric Gardner. Look at motherfucking Sandra Bland's family. Oh, we passed this law that Sandra Bland, for police reform. That's some bullshit. But you're not going to prosecute none of those officers? She died and they cousin in Utah. Man, stop it. Stop. And a lot of the reason why is because they know black folk are so impoverished and poverty-stricken, we going to take whatever bit of bread we can get. So if we got to put a price tag on our family members, we'll do that shit. But what I don't like about these ambulance chasing lawyers like Benjamin Crump with his non-talking ass, he sound like goddamn Danny Glover when he talking. I'm like, God damn it, you a lawyer? What we gonna do is we gonna look at the facts. And when we look at the facts, we gonna do, this motherfucker sound like a black Bobby Boucher. I said, oh, this motherfucker. But it's just like, we got to stop putting a price tag on our lives.
Seattle attorney Edwin Budge is suing Union City, Tennessee, the county, and the officers involved on behalf of Higgins' estate, accusing jailers of excessive use of force, failing to provide adequate medical care, and causing his death. The city, county, and people involved all deny wrongdoing. The jailhouse videos show, minute by minute, Higgins' death from a scuffle with officers in which Higgins, handcuffed, pulls a jailer's hair to a scuffle on the floor where he is kicking feet as jailers struggle on top.
And that white woman was antagonizing him, by the way. That white race soldier woman was antagonizing him. We can't hear what was being said, and she was antagonizing him. Then you don't listen to the rest of it. Just listen.
And here, in close-up video, enhanced by the attorney to zoom in on one of the jailers gripping Higgins' face and neck. In a handwritten report, the jailer says Higgins was spitting, and he put his hand under his chin.
If in fact Mr. Higgins was alleged to be spitting, and it certainly doesn't explain why an officer would keep his hands around somebody's neck or throat area for fully 2 additional minutes.
And my question is this too. If he was spitting, then why didn't you put that bag over their head? Don't nobody watch Cops? Stop it. Y'all wanted to fuck him up because he was being unruly. So stop it. And y'all know y'all got the green light to do it, and y'all probably didn't think this was going to circle around. But guess what? Now that it has circled around, everybody need to do their due diligence and find those race soldiers who expedited his expiration on life and put their asses on the internet. Put all their home addresses and their family on it. See, when these police officers that are killing niggas with impunity gets put out on blast, they gonna stop doing that shit. Motherfuckers start showing them to their house. Till something happens to these race soldiers, whether they get life in prison, the death penalty, they're gonna keep doing it.
From the point that the person stops moving.
The video shows 2 others applying shackles to his legs and ankles as the hand of the officer holding Higgins' neck stays in place. It is 1:48 a.m. and 50 seconds. Minutes pass, Higgins' body goes limp, and yet the lawsuit alleges the hand on his face and neck remained for 2 more minutes.
Wow.
1:54:27. The officer finally removes his hand. It's been nearly 6 minutes. Instead, they drag Higgins' limp body onto a restraint chair and wheel him into cell 15.
Why they would strap.
Wow. Basically, that was George Floyd before we saw George Floyd. That's the same fucking thing. They choked him to death, and then when his body was numb and limp, they just put him on a restraint chair. That's how they feel about you. Like an animal.
A lifeless human body into a restraint chair, spend minutes doing that, and then put him in a cell by himself when all movement had ceased for minutes on end until medics are called is beyond my comprehension.
At 2:14 a.m., 1 minute before medical staff arrive, the officers remove his restraints. The EMS team finds no pulse, no breath, apply CPR, but it's too late.
Wow.
Their report says the primary symptom is obvious death. An autopsy report shows a tear in Higgins' neck muscle. The conclusion, excited delirium due to methamphetamine toxicity, a controversial term used to describe accidental drug deaths.
So they try to say he overdosed. See how they do you? You see how they do you? Oh, well, he overdosed. Clown. Stop it.
Sometimes in the hands of police.
Do I think that the officers handled this situation properly? No.
Do I think that these officers, he sound like a good old boy that's probably steers and queers and niggers and trust and believe you me. He don't give a fuck about that nigga. And he want to really, if white people could, they'd be just like Donald Trump. Man, fuck that nigga. Just another dead nigga if you ask me. That's probably what he really want to say.
I don't. I did not believe beyond a reasonable doubt that any of those officers were guilty of a crime.
District Attorney.
You see? I do believe, without a reason of a doubt, any of those officers were guilty of a crime. All that marching, all that whining, and stepping in the name of love with these racial, they don't give a fuck about y'all. Bringing them water, like I said, I'll bring water, all right. I'll put bleach in that shit and Febreze. Now go ahead, drink this. This shit is good water. It just got color and flavor in it. Fuck out of here.
General Tommy Thomas says he understands that some people won't agree with his decision not to charge the officers. Thomas says he presented the case to the grand jury, as he always does when law enforcement is involved, but never showed the grand jurors the video.
I guess the bottom line is this. It would have taken.
He never showed the grand jury the video. Of course you're not going to do that. Because you're a part of the system of racism, white anti-black racism at its all-time high. Stop. That's why I'm telling you, stop. They going to march with you all day and hold up the little signs, and it's all symbolism. But at the end of the day, it's the content of your character. I don't give a fuck about what you're doing. So if you really got black folks, but you don't care. Because most Caucasians, they don't give a fuck. They don't care. They not thinking about black folk when they wake up, when they go to bed. That ain't their job. It's our job to think about us.
A couple of hours to show the video to the grand jury. And I had already decided that this case was not a proper case for indictment.
The grand jury agreed with the DA's recommendation to not press charges. Thomas says because the burden of proof is lower in civil courts, he advised Higgins' family to get a lawyer and sue.
Chris, the civil attorney is just incredulous that in the criminal case, the grand jury never saw these tapes. They are vowing to hire autopsy experts to overlook the autopsy, overlook these videotapes, and if this gets to a trial and a jury in federal court, to make sure that those jurors see exactly how Sterling Higgins died.
Wow. He didn't even, because he's on code. And y'all need to understand that. That's what being on code is. Racism, white supremacy is an institution. But you know why we losing? Because of the Sambos and coons like Lakeisha Bottoms and Lori Light Uglyfoot, all these black mayors who sitting up here Samboing and cooning. It's like, man, what the fuck is y'all doing? And being a mammy? Stop. Stop it. Y'all making it 10 times worse. That's why we need to call out these Sambos and coons and mammies. Stop it. Let this be a lesson to everyone. They can march, whine, and repeat with you, but they don't give a fuck about reparations. They don't give a fuck about empowering black people so we can be sustainable on our own and have our own land, wealth, and resources. You know, they talk about everything else but reparations. Then we talk about reparations, motherfuckers act like they got selective memory, like Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is the main corporate. Why don't you, like, I was wondering why Charlamagne and be like, well, why, Bernie? Why don't you think black people deserve that? Our ancestors did build this country, so you tell me why. And that motherfucker would have been like, well, I feel like we got, no, that's the problem. Black people are owed a debt. Stop it. Why is it when you buy a mortgage, these motherfuckers you don't pay, they collect your shit. Cause you ain't paid your debt. But we built the goddamn country. These motherfuckers acting like we ain't built this shit. They'll tell you immigrants built it. Stop. Just like I'm about to play this interview, a little bit of the Minnesota police chief pulls out of police unions negotiations. So let's see what he got to say. Let's see what he got to say. I'm very interested. Let's see.
that what you observed on that videotape was not training you had ever seen. So if that's true, where did the behavior that you did see come from?
I've struggled with when I watched that video.
Stop it. What you mean you struggle when you watch the video? You should have been like, that ain't, you. I would have been like, well, that didn't come from my training. I'd have threw that white motherfucker all the way under the bus. But since you're protecting the blue line, you're not.
That I did not see humanity. I did not see humanity. And so that's the only answer I could give you. I did not see humanity that day for Mr. Floyd.
So you notice he said, I didn't see humanity. But you didn't talk about Derek Chauvin and what he did. You didn't point out that those police officers' training was terrible. There was a life at stake, and it was a disregard for that life, and there was no type of sense of urgency to make sure he had the medical care that he needed. But you have to choose your words wisely, because the Fraternal Order of Police is real, and they'll turn on your ass. Which I got this good book, and I think I'm awarded.
More rookie officers make the argument through their attorneys that they were yielding to the experience of Officer Chauvin. Again, where does that fit where does that come from?
Again, and I've said this before, it's a good question. We do not shape our policies based on your years of service. We expect you to...
and what does that mean? Why you up here nigga-splaining?
Be professional. We expect you to have a duty and care for life. And if you come into conflict with policy or a subculture, I expect your humanity to rise above that. And our communities expect that.
Bunch of nigga-splaining and copping pleas for your fellow officers because you're trying to protect the blue line. Stop it, nigga. You a Sambo too. Why don't you quit your job and be like, you know why I don't like what's going on, and you know why I'm gonna resign. I'll go work somewhere else. Fuck that. And then you can say how you really feel. No, I don't appreciate that shit. I don't like it. There's a whole bunch of racist shit going on. And all you other white racist officers that know what the fuck is going on, y'all ain't saying shit. Because y'all complicit in the shit. Throw their ass under the bus. You want to be a good cop? Do that. You go work somewhere else. But you know what it is? It's because to you, you feel like, well, they ain't my family member, so I ain't worried about it. Stop. Stop. Y'all better understand what the fuck is going on. But I appreciate everybody listening, subscribing. Told you I was only going to be on for 30 minutes. That's all about it. I know the internet probably going in and out anyway. Y'all already know how to be on fucking Fridays. Hey, I'm going to hit y'all up on Sunday, probably around 3 o'clock. Same bad time, Clown Channel. Hey, man, I'm your boy Warren G, and the place to be. Been clown sucker free since 2003. Hey, man, if you're out there bullshitting and sitting up there marijuana repeating and being an agent provocateur, guilty, nigga. I'm out. Peace.